Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. In this tutorial, we will learn how to create a vintage effect for your video and achieve the look of old film. First, create a new composition with the video you want to apply the vintage effect to. The first thing to do is to apply some filters to degrade the image quality. Look for the noise effect and drag it onto your video. Increase the amount parameter. Don't hesitate to go heavy. I set it to 15. Next, add the hue saturation effect. Slightly decrease the saturation. And slightly increase the brightness. Next, we'll add a third effect. Search for exposure and drag it onto your video. In the Effects Control panel, change the channel to individual channels. Expand the blue channel and Alt+click on blue exposure. The timeline should open. Type wiggle 6.5. This command will randomly vary the parameter between -5 and 5, 6 times per second. Our effect is starting to take shape. To simulate the camera shake, we'll add another wiggle, but this time on the position of our video. Type wiggle 24/6. The problem now is that we see the edges of the video appear. To fix this issue, simply scale up your video to 102%. Old cameras had difficulty focusing. To simulate this effect, add the camera lens blur effect. Set the blur radius parameter to 2. Alt+click again, and add another wiggle. Wiggle 6.4. We already have a pretty convincing effect, but to go further, we'll add dust and light leak overlays. For this, I've created a free pack available on my website. The link is in the description. Right-click on the video and pre-compose it, checking Leave All Attributes. Import the overlay videos into your project panel. Add the dust overlay to add a dust effect to the film. Set it to lighten mode. And reduce the opacity to soften the effect. Do the same with the scratch overlay. To add a burnt film effect from light over time, add the light leak effect, set it to add mode, and again, reduce the opacity. Now, let's create an intro, as if the projector is warming up at the start, displaying the first empty frames. Add the old film file to the beginning of your video. I cut it to 2 seconds, as we don't need a long intro. Next, add a shape layer Alt plus a click on Fill to get a gradient. Select an orange color in the middle with 100% opacity, and add 2 colors at each end with 0% opacity. Click on the arrow tool to manipulate your gradient and change its direction if necessary. Open the scale of this layer, uncheck the lock, and increase the vertical scale to cover your composition with orange. Set it to additive mode, then add key points to the position. The idea is to simulate the projector bulb warming up. Position your layer so the color is not on the screen, set a key point, then 2 seconds later, add a second key point, and move your layer to cover it in orange. Now, we'll simulate the frame rate of an old camera. Today, most cameras shoot at 25, 30, or 60 FPS, but back then it was much lower. The standard for Super 8 was 18 FPS. For this, we have an effect called posterize time. It's very simple. Drag it onto your main composition and set the parameter to 18. Done. Finally, we can add a vignette effect. Return to your main composition, search for the vignette effect, and drag it in. In the parameters, try to find a setting that suits your video without being too pronounced. Experiment with your own settings to find the perfect balance for your footage. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow me, give a like, or leave a comment, and subscribe for more tutorials. See you next video.